Welcome back to the Belonging Place, where we talk about community, connection, belonging, and I'm really excited to have Adam Lancaster as my guest today. And Adam and I go way back, at least like 25 or 26 years, which dates us. But I'm really excited, Adam, to have you on here for many reasons, but one of the things is I'm going to introduce this idea to you because I'm going to use it in the rest of the podcast. This podcast is called The Belonging Place, but I call these gatherings, I call them wells. I just decided to call them wells because in the scriptures in the olden days, this is where all the things happen. This is where people fall in love. This is where they got the water. This is where they got the living water. This is just like the place that people gathered, right? And so when I'm talking about gathering places, I'm going to call them wells. But I feel like you are a well builder. And I feel like you are a well gatherer. I don't know. If you're not building the well, you're gathering people to the well. It happens to be like my favorite trait. I obviously named my whole podcast about the Belonging Place. And so I'm excited to talk to you about different wells that you've been a part of or that you've created and like the impact that has had on your life. But we're going to start with you just kind of like giving us like, I would say your elevator pitch about you. So
okay.
Short version. Yeah.
I am from Wyoming.
Okay.
And I am unhealthily proud of that.
Specifically from?
Inappropriately proud to be from Star Valley, Wyoming.
Shout out to Star Valley. Okay.
Everything goes back to that. I try to convince my wife that we need to be buried there. Still, she has no connections there. But it seems like everything for me comes back to that. And so it's such a huge part of me. I'm from Wyoming.
Are you? What city in Star Valley are you from?
I grew up in an unincorporated.
Okay, so just Star
community.
Valley. Okay.
Called Osmond.
Osmond. Okay.
And really, we called it Osmond because that's what the church congregation was called right there.
Okay.
So
okay.
There's no post office.
Do you know what's funny? Why I was asking you this because on my way to this podcast, I was like, "Hey Siri, tell me the different cities in Star Valley," and there's like some prominent small cities.
Okay, so there's 13 towns end to end. It's about 70 miles.
Okay.
Everybody bussed into one high school.
Oh, okay.
In the 70 miles.
Star Valley
High
School.
Yep.
Okay.
Alpine at the north end, Smoot at the south end, and then there's 11 other little towns in between. My address actually said Afton.
Okay, I was going to say, I feel like I thought you were from Afton, but that's why. Okay. And is there still just one high school there?
Still just one high school.
Really?
Yeah, still about the same number of people.
Really?
A lot of people
okay.
move in and they cannot do a winter. They last like 18 months and they are out again. So
okay.
It's still about the same size.
Okay. Which is kind of nice when you go
really
home
nice.
And you're just like, this is home.
Yeah.
Okay. Besides Wyoming, maybe that's your elevator pitch, just that you're
really
from.
That's it. Like that explains everything. I did leave. I got an undergraduate degree at BYU.
Okay.
I went back to Wyoming and then I came back to BYU for an MBA and left to Phoenix for a few years and did the big corporate thing. And then we're back again.
Yeah.
So,
in that process, you got married?
Got married in 2004. So 21 years.
Congrats.
And I met her at a summer church camp. We were youth counselors.
Is this EFY?
This is EFY.
Okay.
Yeah. And 4 kids and have a senior, this year, high school senior. And
that's wild to
your
me.
life just passes away like a dream. Like it's true. It really does.
Okay. So thank you. We're gonna dive into multiple of those areas. But Adam, I'm gonna ask you that question again. I'm going to rewind.
Okay.
And you get to answer that question, but you can't talk about anything that you have done or have.
Have done or have.
Yeah.
Okay. And the question was?
Hey, Adam, can you tell us a little bit about you?
A little bit about me. Okay. There are things I love to do.
Okay.
I love to get on a dirt bike. And this started at such a young age. An uncle that I idolized was a dirt bike rider.
Okay.
The earliest memory I have was before I could walk.
Really?
And it was watching him ride up on his dirt bike to my grandma's house.
We have this in common that I didn't know. My family is all dirt bike riders, and all the men in my family every year do a big motorcycle trip where they go somewhere. I always wish I could.
Cool.
I'm not a man, but like, yeah, I didn't know this. Okay. I think you also, do you like to hunt?
I used to.
Okay,
I like to be out and take pictures of the animals now.
Okay.
There was one hunt that I went on, and maybe we can talk about this. Like I've had like a life and death situation in a hunting.
This is maybe why I thought, yeah, because you've shared this before. Yeah, please.
This, the short story is, a mountain lion snuck up on my dad and I and attacked him, and I had to shoot the mountain lion off of the top of it. Jeez. Wild story.
Wild. Like made the paper wild, big, right?
Yeah, made like
news.
Field and Stream magazine nationally, all sorts of stuff wild. Like paintings about us that are still in Field and Stream magazine 20 years later. Like,
this is crazy.
Or sorry, that are still in Sportsman's Warehouse for sale. Anyway.
Like, did you save your dad's life? Shoot the thing? Okay.
I mean, do you want to get in the story?
Yeah,
I'll tell the story. Okay, so
tell the story. Yeah.
So little bit of backstory to it. My dad and I had started a business. This is when after undergrad, moved back to Wyoming. I'm like 26. We started a business together, and we had a really big falling out. And this like day that we decided to go hunting together was kind of like day one of rebuild.
Okay.
And so we go out, and I could describe all of the, it's like 10 degrees below zero because it's Star Valley in September, and that's just the way it is.
Cold.
Late cold. September, early October. Early morning horse riding, stopping for a little brunch, those types of things. And then we separate. And I see a deer, I take it down. We have this little tradition in our family. We let out this like war cry, right? When we're successful. So he knows he's a long ways away, but he hears it, he knows. So I go and I start field dressing the animal, and he eventually shows up. When he shows up, he had both the horses. He ties them up. They're like 30, 40, 50 feet away, ways away. So I go take both of my guns and lay them down by the horses.
Okay.
Come back, finish field dressing the deer. We stop and take a couple of pictures because we hadn't taken it, like the normal, like, here's the rack.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to us, while we were taking those pictures, there was a mountain lion like 5 feet away from us.
This is wild.
Just like. So
Did you pounce?
Yes. So I grabbed the last bags of meat, and note that like both of us have blood up to our elbows, right? Like,
gosh, this is also wild. Yeah, you're covered. Because for those people who don't know what field dressing, will you just break it down? Because maybe we have people that don't.
So we're trying to just be true conservatives. Like, take really good care of what was just given to us, right? Like, don't waste. So we're taking all the meat off and we're putting it in bags. We're taking really good care of it because we want to preserve and be grateful for what just happened.
So you're in it. You're grabbing the gut. You're doing the thing. You said a really nice version, but for the case of the story, it is important to know that you're like in it.
When you're in Wyoming, you say you're gutting it out.
Yeah.
Right? That's how we say it in Wyoming. For here, we're going to say we were field dressing it. So I pick up the last 2 bags of meat and start walking back to the horses. And my dad is like, Adam. And I turn around, and what's wild is what I saw in my mind was a giant yellow lab. And I was like, why is a yellow lab this far up in the woods?
Your brain just couldn't
wrap wrap
course.
around what was going on. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, right? And so I dropped the bags of meat. The last thing you do with a cat is run, right? Because that's how they attack.
This.
I know this.
Okay.
Super lucky, but that's exactly what I did. It wasn't to run away. It was to go get the gun and engage, right? But my dad, luckily, had kept the attention of it. So it doesn't chase. So he's between the cat and the deer.
Okay.
The gut pile.
Gosh.
Right?
Okay.
So he's like all right, I know I'm like bloody and everything, but maybe if I backward step over this deer, hand it over, like we'll be good.
Yeah.
That's what the cat wants, right?
Yeah.
So he steps over the
Well,
deer.
I don't know. Does he want you all?
I don't know. Like, well,
You all need sex.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
He steps over the deer, and then like 2 steps, his spurs get caught in a sagebrush and he falls on his back.
No.
Okay, so the cat
onto
jumps over the deer
Okay.
and is now on him. So the cat's like between his legs. My dad's got his legs like crouched up into his chest, like trying to protect himself. And that's when I turn around with the
Okay.
gun. And this is the cool, like, I'm a cowboy story. Part
Yeah,
of it.
please. I mean, you're already a cool
I
cowboy
pulled
right
it.
now.
I had 2 guns with me that day, and one that I had shot the deer with, but this other one was like early 1990s John Wayne lever action, like, the kind you see in the movies. And so I grabbed that one and turn around, and my dad's saying some words that I'm not going to say on this podcast.
Yeah.
And
The good old one
Shoot
cowboy
the-
words.
Adam shoot,
Yeah.
So I turn around and I had to shoot the cat, right off of the top of my dad's
This is
sternum,
like,
basically.
you must be really good shot
And
because that's scary.
Kind of
And
scary,
hard
but
because dad and cat.
as you
Okay.
think about it, like, I mean, it's maybe 50 feet at the most away. Like, if you miss by a foot or 2, you're a pretty bad shot
Okay.
at that distance. So
So you
I shot
shoot
it. Yeah, I hit it, in the side, in the vitals, and it blew the cat sideways a little bit. It took like 2 jumps, and then it just expired right there.
it died.
Yep.
Okay.
Now,
Good shot.
we had to go through like 3 or 4 months of game and fish investigation.
Because you're not supposed to kill.
I didn't have a license.
Oh.
You can hunt cats. I didn't have a license, and so we had to go prove. Anyway, long story short, like, they did this long investigation. They immediately went up and saw the site and collected the cat. And this is like February, so it happened late September, early October. February, they come to my house and they're like, "We need to discuss what happened." And I'm like, "Am I going to jail?"
For saving
Got
my dad's life.
I'm showered up. I'm like, anyway, but no, they're like, "Hey, we have asked so many people in the community about your character."
Oh.
And everyone said whatever they said happened.
Oh gosh, I love that.
Yes. And
How
then
did that feel?
amazing.
When they say that to you about you and your character and
mostly I felt like I was leaning on my dad's
character.
His name.
I mean, at 26, you've got your own character, and I can attest to some of that. So
Yeah. I was an idiot high schooler, like, whatever. But they were like, and
I
by
mean,
the
you're
way,
humble, and that's why I'm saying by that time in your life, you had quite a bit of your own character.
I
could line up a
had.
character witness. Good.
Yeah.
You did good. But that's
Good
kind of
enough.
cool to hear
It was.
people say to somebody,
Yeah.
like, whatever they said happened.
Yep.
Like, their word is their bond, which we
Yep.
don't have anymore today, I feel like, very much.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. And then they gave me the head of the cat. They said, "We've preserved the head and the paws, and here they are."
Wow.
And so I have, the skull in my office, and I have the claws. And anyway,
That's a
Wild story.
cowboy story.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we started with you saying biking, then I said the I wanted to get to the story, but
Yeah.
I said the hunting, but more the story.
Yeah.
What is there anything else you would say about who you are without what you've done?
I really, to my core, and this isn't a, I'm a great person. Just naturally, I am a giver.
Giver.
I just like to give. I like to help. The motto of my company is just go help somebody today. We don't really chase dollars. So I guess who I am, I'm a giver, I'm an adventurer, and dirt bikes and outdoors helps facilitate that.
Yeah. What do you think shifts between the first time I asked the question and the second time I asked the question?
Yeah. Who I am, right? At the core, really, really. I actually had an inkling you were going to ask
Yeah,
this
yeah.
this morning, and I was thinking about it on the way down. And so it gave me a second to think, who am I really, really?
Yeah.
You strip away everything else, like, who are you? And it's actually nice
Yeah.
to know who that is.
Yeah. I think very few people know who they are.
Yeah.
at their core. I think we like to, and it's protective to describe ourselves by the things we've done and what we have. And I would
Yeah.
say even down to like, I'm a wife, or I'm a husband, or I'm a father, or I'm a like, because these I know are core values of yours. But when you really take away what you have, which is that I have a wife, I have kids, like who are you? I think that for some people is a hard question. I've seen
Yeah.
multiple people just squirm a little bit. And I don't know that it's because they don't have things they like or do, but I think it's easier in life. And I think, especially here in America, we sort of, this is the status quo when you're introducing yourself. It's like, what do I do? Like the first thing people say is like what they work at or what they do, I would love to sort of strip that away and just see the difference it would be in our society in general. If people were like, I'm Kylee and I'm a listener.
Yeah.
I'm Adam and I'm a giver, And then people can ask you about what you do and whatever. So, I often ask people when they get on here, like, are meet cute? And if they remember it. And so, do you remember our meet cute?
No. What is this?
A meet cute is just like the first time you meet. So,
Okay.
do your best. Do you like give a general, just like, when do you remember first meeting me?
Oh my gosh. Probably. Here's my first memory, actually.
I'm a little nervous about this. I don't know.
Are you?
I don't know what's going to
Don't be
come out.
nervous.
Okay.
No. My first memory that's coming to mind right now is as a missionary.
Okay.
And for some reason, I'm like envisioning myself in a chapel, okay, at like a missionary zone meeting.
Okay.
And I probably knew you before this.
Okay.
But what's coming to mind is you being asked to be like the sister assistant to the president, like the premier leader in the mission. That's what I remember. That's
don't even
like
remember that moment, but that's, I mean, I know that I was that, but
Yeah.
I don't remember that moment. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
I think we did know about each other.
For sure.
But let's talk a little bit about the mission. So you served in what mission?
California, San Diego mission.
Okay. And if you were going to sort of describe, I want to say the packaging of the mission, or like the like, we had a real specific kind of mission, what would you say? I'm interested, and then I'm going to share my thoughts, but like, how would you boil it down if you talked about our mission?
That mission. I remember saying when elders or sisters would come, when new missionaries would come to the mission, we would jokingly say, "Welcome to the California San Diego mission. What's wrong with you?"
Tell me more.
The reason was because I felt like, or a lot of us felt like, at least, like there were actually a lot of like health issues that came to our mission because it was like really close to the border. You could still get really good language experience and like culture experience, but also still really good healthcare, in the States.
Did you know and learn later that the San Diego mission is a sick mission?
No, I had no idea. This was just, I was totally guessing.
Yeah.
So it was.
So fast forward, the church has done a ton of they do a lot of their, when they start something, when they initiate a program, when they film missionaries, but it's considered one of the sick missions because of everything you just said.
It actually was true.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
But this is so funny because I didn't know this till later either. But like this, okay, so welcome to the mission. Okay, so this is one of the things. Lots of people were there that just sort of, which I, in my words, would say already pretty vulnerable, because when you already are coming to the table with like problems and you're ready to like do work, that's a different foundation than.
Totally.
Okay, so what else about the mission stands out? Like,
oh man, I fell in love with the people there. The people who were natives, or the residents is the better word.
First of all, tell us, you served a specific kind of mission in San Diego.
Yeah, I was a Spanish-speaking missionary, and so what that meant is that if we ever knocked a door of someone who didn't speak Spanish, we could have a very short discussion with them about, and if there was interest, then we would connect them with an English-speaking missionary set. Otherwise, we just sought out Spanish-speaking people who were interested in the gospel, and
Of which there are so
so
many in
many.
San Diego. So
many.
this is like,
Yes.
the field is white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also meant that I got to live in some really interesting places, you know?
I feel like you were a desert missionary
I was,
forever.
yes.
Were you a desert missionary
So
forever?
I lived in one area on the border, which is, on the border of Tijuana. So San Isidro, Chula Vista, Imperial Beach area for like over half of my mission. I stayed there.
I knew it was long, but I did not know it was that long.
And then I stayed in a place called Calexico, California. And there were 2 white people there. And it was me and my reflection in the mirror, like that was it. And it was amazing. Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Real Spanish.
Real
Spanish. You're in it.
Yes.
Yeah. About how far into your mission did you feel like you could converse without having to think too hard?
Without having to think too hard. That's a great question.
Or I guess I could say you felt like you were fluent.
Did decently.
Yeah.
I was thrown into it, and I'm not going to tell you who this person was, but I had a companion who was leaving the mission who still really struggled with Spanish. And that ended up being a blessing for me because it forced me to get into it way earlier.
Yeah.
This is
I
like
have to do the thing.
3rd transfer.
Okay.
And he also had narcolepsy. So he would literally fall asleep during lessons.
We both had companions who had narcolepsy.
And then I had to pop open the lesson and start teaching it alone, right?
In Spanish.
In Spanish.
Yeah.
And I'd been there 3 to 4 months. So
you
probably
had
quicker
to learn it. Yeah.
Probably quicker than it would have been otherwise anyway.
And I'm gonna put you on the spot. Still speak Spanish? Still use it? Okay.
Yeah, this morning for an hour and a half I've been speaking Spanish for. Yes.
Still blesses your life.
Love it so much.
Okay.
Yes.
If you were to describe our mission president, what would you say?
One word. Would be fatherly. I really truly felt like he was a second dad to me, and he was so much like my dad. So some of those traits were, he was a good note writer when he really needed to convey something important, his priorities and his ability to communicate with the heavens was unmatched. But also he was going to light you up when you needed it,
I do know. I was on the receiving. That Sister AP received a lot of that.
Yeah, you did. You did. Man. He also saw your potential, and he was going to throw you out there and maybe dangle you out a little bit farther than you wanted to be. So that you could see it yourself,
Not only do I know, can I pause and tell a story?
Yeah.
I did not want to be a Sister AP. I did not want to do anything that was going to take me away from just teaching. I'd wanted to go on a mission since I was 10 years old. I had to wait till I was 21. So most of the missionaries like you were coming out at 19. Yeah. I had 11 and a half years, or how many years that is, 13 and a half years, squished in to a year and a half. I was like, don't stop me from just doing the work. We had September 11th during our mission. And particularly I was down in Old Town where nobody came, and I was at the Mormon Battalion. And I had all kinds of, at the time, like these barriers to working with people. And our mission president was like, before I became a Sister AP, I was sort of working with sisters, generally speaking, with kind of the elders that were district leaders are called. And then I got called as Sister AP. And then I was specifically called to go where there were problems potentially with sisters. And the elders would say, come here and talk to this. This is not how I want to send my mission.
Yeah.
This is the least, I said this. I was very open to our mission president because he had this personality that he would just tell you as it is. So I would just be had a little temper tantrum. I remember this distinctly because I was like, President, I don't want to do this. This is not what I want to do. I don't want to go tell people to lose weight or look better or if you can't learn the language, we're going to switch you over to English. These are the things I had to do as an AP. Yeah. And I did not want to do that. I felt like this is, and President Pitcher looked at me and he said, Sister Shields, the things that you're going to learn doing this are going to set you up for the rest of your life. So stop complaining and get to work. And I was like, I mean, I got called to be the Relief Society president like 6 months after I got home from my mission, and didn't want that either.
No,
That was a regretful yes. And could have never done what I did in that had I not been what I was there. I mean, it was revelation. I like you looking back, I can say it was revelation. He did say, he's like, you will most likely be called in positions of leadership, and this will help you. So like, just speaking to the, like, I did a lot of like, I wish now I did less of this, but I did a lot of sort of what I felt like was righteous complaining to President Pitcher. Like, just let me do this and just let me do this. And he did a lot of like, you're not in control. Like, you're not in control. Like, he never said this in words, but I've since studied Buddhism, and like what I feel like he was saying is let go.
Yeah.
Like, just let go. Like, God's in charge, and God put me in charge, and I'm going to place you where you need to be and learn what you need to. Anyway, so back to, yeah.
You know what? Some of my greatest days today, I love that concept of let go. Some of my greatest days today. So I carry a pretty heavy burden of, I would be surprised if there are very many providers out there, whether you're a male or a female in your family, the provider, who doesn't really, really feel like that is a massive burden.
Yeah.
And my greatest days are when I hit my knees in the morning before I leave and I say, what do you need done today?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not me. Yeah. Right? Like this concept of just let go.
Let it go.
Just let go. Like, stop focusing on building this empire or this business or whatever. Like, how can I be your hands today? Or, right? Like, this is a concept that could work in any philosophy of belief, right? But just like, all right, just let go today.
Live and let live.
Let me just go.
Yeah. And we're specifically saying, anchored to a creator or spiritual source that we know and trust and have faith in, that will guide us, right?
Yeah.
Like, not just like Willie.
Laissez-faire.
Laissez-faire. There's
totally,
none of that. I want to read something from, so I wrote a book. And I don't talk about the book very much, but the book is about being single and LDS and kind of like, and in this, I have a chapter called Make It Happen. And it's not about make it happen getting married, just because, just to put that on the table. But it's about like, go build the kingdom, set goals, and then make them happen. Upon which I feel like a good foundation of that was from our mission. And so I'm going to just read this. One day on my mission in San Diego, my companion and I met a visitor to our congregation, our ward. She was a member of the church from somewhere in the Midwest, nowhere near the ocean. I will never forget this girl because she changed the way I thought about goal setting. As we were talking to her and asking the usual questions, she said she was in San Diego to learn how to surf. I thought that was so cool. So I asked her how long she would be in town. She went on to tell us that she was taking a surfing class that lasted 6 weeks, and then she would go back home. I was curious what had brought her to San Diego since she didn't know anyone here. And she later explained that she was staying in a hostels. She told my companion and me that on the last day of her mission, before she went to bed in the mission home, she wrote down 101 goals she wanted to accomplish in her life. One of the goals on her list was to learn how to surf. It had been about 6 years since she had returned from her mission, and the time had come to make it happen. I was impressed and motivated. I even wrote my own list of 101 goals, which is a lot harder than you think, in the mission home on the last day of my mission. And then I go on to talk about different goals that I set on that. But I'm interested in your thoughts about goals, setting things. We had sort of a goal program in our mission. I don't know how you felt about that or thought about that or remember that?
I had forgotten until I saw on our mission Facebook page 2 weeks ago the pin. I saw the pin.
Okay.
And I didn't even, when I saw the photo, I didn't even remember what the pin meant or was about. Do you have a photo of this pin? You have the pin.
I have a photo of the pin, but I am going to show you. Keep going.
Okay. So I was reminded as people discussed this pin that it was for this presidential program, right? That that our mission president had, and it involved a lot of hard work. Like it took a lot of people a year to 18 months to get through this program. A lot of reading, a lot of memorizing, a lot of really, I think, a program of becoming, right? A lot of knowledge, but also like
Oh my gosh.
becoming who he really wanted us to be. So, yes.
Okay, so I have this. This is what we did back in the days.
Wow, look at that. Master
is-
teacher certification.
So we had all of these. I think so. I have the presidential. So we'll just flip forward. This is so funny that I'm putting my scrapbook right here in front of us. But okay, so here, the presidential award. Have achieved the master teacher, have completed reading mission library, know additional topic scriptures, write a paper, approximately 5 pages on the atonement of Christ, the doctrinal basis, using all standard works as sources, experiences of how your teaching the doctrine has changed lives, how you feel about the atonement, show excellent image and reputation as a missionary. I finished that March 23rd of 2002. But this is the culmination, right? And then you got a pin. There was presidential, there was master teacher, there was all kinds of
levels.
I don't know if this is a thing that other missionaries do, because I only served one mission.
Right?
But now that you remember, like, what role did that play? Were you like, yes, I need to become presidential? Were you like, this is perfunctory? I don't know why we're doing, like, what did you feel like when the mission president was like, here?
You know what? For most of my life, up until maybe 5 years ago, even, I have been very much a obedience first personality.
Okay.
And so in those settings, I have a mission president that I trust, and he's got a program. I'm going to go do this. Okay. And I never asked why. I just jumped in and I was like, I'm going to do this because he thinks I should do this. And I didn't remember any of those things on that list. I do remember having to read all of those things and memorize a bunch of scriptures and stuff, but I want to go find that paper, that 5-page paper that I was supposed to write now.
Yeah, it's out there for sure.
I want to know what I thought
about your testimony. I also want to know. I wrote it. It's got to be somewhere. I wonder if President Pitcher has those. Like, where are those? Yeah.
I'll bet he gave it back. I seem to remember a folder of all of those things.
You'll have to go find it and see. Tell me.
Yeah, I have a giant box of mission stuff. I'll see if I can find it.
Okay, one more thing. Well, one of the things I want to say is, can you find yourself?
Oh, man. Yes. Okay, there's some of my buds. I think I'm in the bottom one. These are my guys. I do remember this photo. Everybody looks like they have giant ears because there's black backgrounds. I thought I was in this one.
You're in here, right?
I am in here. I do remember these. Maybe I'm in the top one. I keep in contact with so many of these people still. This is so fun for me to see these.
This is wild. I should have found you before.
I should have looked for...
It's okay.
He's in both of them. Turkey. There I am. Yeah.
Okay. That's because he was an AP.
He was the AP at the time.
Yeah.
Yep. Here we go. I had hair back then.
Adam, this is a big question, but the San Diego, California mission was a well.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was a belonging place. It was lots of broken people, lots of healing, lots of put your shoulder to the wheel, a lot of learning, a lot of growth edge, a lot of like discipline, a lot of when you look at your life today, what impact did that well have? Does that have?
Tremendously. And there's thoughts that I have about things that I did really well there. And there's thoughts that I have about me doing things not very well there. The things that I did well actually come with the baggage of the stuff that I didn't do well.
Yeah.
So being a Wyoming kid, Like my mentality coming into the mission was stop whining. Let's get after it, you know? Like let's dig in and get after this. And so the stuff I did well is I really, really did obey every rule of the mission all the time. And I really did get out and I worked my tail off. And I really, really tried to get the gospel in front of as many people as I could. It mattered to me. What I didn't do well was with my fellow missionaries, actually, in helping them feel loved and accepted for who they were and understand that they didn't have my same mentality or drive or whatever I had. Like
dragging around, right?
I dragged a lot of people around.
Yeah. And I can't relate to that at all.
Left. Yeah, right.
This is me.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
We shared the same missionary experience and the same regret. Yeah.
Yeah, like I left some dead bodies behind me, you know? And they weren't dead bodies with the residents of San Diego. Dead bodies of other missionaries.
Did it change how you worked with people moving forward, though?
Yeah.
In what way?
What's interesting is that really didn't click well with me until about 5 years ago. I was reconnected with an old friend, and we were asked to go start a new congregation, kind of as a pilot program for the church. And the pilot program was, there are 5,000 mid-single adults in Provo, meaning people who are not married between the ages of 31 to 45. And there has been one congregation for them for 30 years. And it's not great either. So we're giving you a little bit of carte blanche to go figure out what would make it great. First thing we asked for was primary. We need to have, and these were not previously allowed in these types of congregations, we need to have a place for single parents to feel like they can be at home. A lot of pushing, and Salt Lake said, okay, we'll allow it. You need to watch out for some things, though.
Yeah.
Right? The other thing we started doing is, and this is going to sound so businessy.
Yeah.
And most of this happened before I became involved. Kurt Brown and his wife started marketing. Like they started to create momentum for the congregation before it started.
Yeah.
One of the things he did is he made sure that there were like 5 specific people there on the first day. Hitters in the community is what he called them. Hitters.
Or mavens, connectors.
Yes,
right? Like,
connectors that people looked up to. That's a better way to say it.
Yeah.
We called them hitters.
That's fine. Hitters are great.
Connectors of the community is the right way to say it. They also went and dropped flyers on doors. They went and knocked doors. They went to so many congregations and just created excitement and momentum before it started. Okay. When we got there, we had a meeting of some of these connectors. Okay. We had a dinner. We catered dinner and we said, tell us what not to do.
Gosh, I love that.
And you'll know exactly what these things are. Don't ever talk about marriage to us. We know. Okay? Just let us be who we are and let us feel like we belong here. Okay? And so those were our marching orders. We promised to them we would never have a lesson about marriage, and we honored that. Okay? The second thing we did, though, and this is coming back around to your question, what influenced you to be better? It really didn't click until I was there in that congregation every week. And what I learned was so many people feel like they're alone and they're too far to be rescued. And so what we said to them is, you come as you are. You find a place to worship here that is comfortable to you in your own skin.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the people came in droves. They came in droves. They were driving from St. George every Sunday to be in the congregation in Provo because they finally felt like they belonged.
Belonging. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so that was the moment, actually. It wasn't until 5 years ago that I was like, oh, that's what I was missing on the mission. I was so judgmental. Oh my gosh, I was so judgmental. And that's where it stemmed from. Like, I finally got to see the future of who these people are actually going to become, notwithstanding so much baggage.
Yeah.
I got to see my own baggage and my own future, and it was marvelous.
Gosh.
I just loved ministering to these people. And what I mean by that is just sitting and sorrowing with them. You know?
Yeah, I do.
You know,
live.
more than anybody, you know, actually.
I know. I think my favorite part about what you just described, though, is, and one of the reasons why I wrote my book, and one of the reasons why is that there's a lot of married people who are coaching down to single people. This is not even a church thing. This is just a life thing.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter where you are. If you're married and you have kids, you have the authority to tell people who don't have marriage or kids, like, how
I
it's
got it
done.
figured out.
I got it figured out, which they don't. Most
They don't.
people.
We don't.
But it feels good to sort of say, like, I think for some people, I have something that it doesn't feel good to say I have something you don't, but it feels like it gives authority to then be able to say, this is how you do it. And you will always miss the mark if this is how you lead.
Yep.
Right? And you will be a great leader if you seek to understand. This is a Covey principle, right? But like, just seek to understand before being understood. It's not about you. It's like, look at the people, look at what they need and what they want, fill the gap. If the system itself isn't working, we got to change the system, because it's not the people, it's the system, right? I love like everything about that and what you just said. I want to pivot a little bit on this same thing. So one of the things that I've seen in your life is this balance that or this dance, I would call it, because I don't even know if it's a balance between just like getting after life, like getting it done, and like marinating in the goodness of people, like just sitting in with your family, with your church callings, with your life, with your business. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Because you've never, and I don't think this is good, I'm saying you've never stopped running to either build the kingdom or build a business. Like you will run till you die, I think. I admire this about you. I know it has a double-edged sword, but like, can you talk to me a little bit about that dance?
Yes, I love that you use the word dance, because it is not balance.
Yeah.
You know, my gosh. I wish I could say it was a choice.
It's just who you are.
Yeah.
That way.
It's just who I am. Right. So my family is the founders of Maverick and Flying J, and cousin she owns both of them now. She's a bulldog.
I did not know that. That is news to me. Wow. I didn't know that.
She's the founder of Crystal Inn. Second cousin. Like, we're not buds or anything, but that's in our DNA.
Gosh.
And
tenacious.
It is tenacious. Some of our relatives have done a great job of harnessing that and realizing that they can still be amazing achievers in more healthy settings. An uncle who was the #1 sports photographer for Deseret News forever. I don't think he made a lot of money in his entire career, but he was elite, right? Best buds with Carl Malone and John and MJ and the dudes.
Yeah.
He was elite.
In it. He was in it, yeah.
But he lived a pretty dang good life too. Not chill. I mean, he worked dang hard. But then there's some of us that are just like, you know, if we're not going a million miles an hour, we feel really let down at the end of the day.
If you're not a producer, then what am I worth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A sister who was Junior Miss Wyoming, and not just Junior Miss Wyoming, won every single category, right? And every single category at the high school level, every single category at the state level. By the way, national level, same thing. They give her the acceptance speech, and she's like, you know what? I'm kind of done. I don't want it. And so she actually handed the crown to someone else. So it's just in the DNA,
Mm.
right? Like it's just in the DNA. Okay, so let's talk about the dance. I've had to go to therapy to get some work done on this.
Gosh,
Okay.
thank you for saying that. I love this.
I've been on some stuff, to some some meds to like help me through this. It is a dance. It is nonstop in the forefront, not even in the back of the mind, in the forefront of the mind. Race, go create something that's a legacy, go create something remarkable. And every morning I see it scroll across my eyes like, go live a remarkable life today.
Mm.
Good and bad, like if I don't, I come back and I'm like, I am such a schmuck. I am such a waste, So
If you do, can you enjoy it?
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
You can savor
Like,
it.
and there's plenty of days where I'm like, man, that was a day, accomplished so much today. This is an amazing thing. And we're achieving some amazing things in our business, some accolades that are coming. And yet the funny thing is, I'll just share one as an example. I was the number 3 real estate agent in the country Q3 of last year.
Weren't you number 2 in Q1?
And I was number 2 in Q1. And
I did my research.
you did your research, and that's driving me crazy. I'm just like, how do I become number 1?
Okay.
Like number 2 is like,
yeah. This is why I use the word tenacious, because there's a specific thing about that word versus like work ethic. It's like a dog without a bone.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is absolutely a 2-edged sword because it
What's
comes
the
with
cost?
so much.
The cost benefit
Yes.
analysis, right? Yeah.
The cost is dissatisfaction. I am constantly dissatisfied with where I'm at, right? And that actually can lead to a lot of unhappiness and stress.
Whatever you're doing spills out. Good stress, bad stress, it's going to spill out of you and surround you in every area, not just in your business area, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so where I'm trying to get
Yeah.
is be satisfied in not the outcomes, but in the KPIs.
Tell us what KPIs are for people who don't know.
So in the business world, a KPI is your key performance indicator. It's the things that if you do every day will result in eventual success. So
Covey squares, this is called quadrant 2,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like if you're familiar, it's the things that aren't necessarily urgent and right in front of you,
Yep.
but it's the things that you're building along the way. It's the paperwork side. It's the things that you're putting energy in that don't actually come right at you, but because that place is what's going to. This is less business and more just life.
Yes.
It's like if you can do the thing over here, like in the end, you're gonna benefit way better than if you're just staying in quadrant 1 or whatever. Yeah, but KPIs. Okay.
KPIs. So it helps you to focus on, okay, today was a successful day, even though I'm not the number 1 realtor in the country, because I did what I committed myself to do for future long-term success.
Yeah.
And part of that is that I have to force in things that are not business related. Okay, so my family KPIs, right? Like I recognize if I don't do my dailies, I'm going to end up really dissatisfied with life in the future. So what are the family KPIs that I need to insert every day? What are my church or spiritual KPIs that I feel like I need to insert every day? What are my health, right? The things that are actually going to result in happiness.
My brain.
Yes. My mental health, those things.
I know you're a reader. Yeah. I'm going to ask you a hard question.
Okay.
What are you if you're not producing?
What my natural instinct is to say I'm nothing, right?
Okay.
Really, truly, because that's just the genetics of this family. As I've been thinking about this podcast this entire week, that is the question that's actually come to mind the most.
Okay.
And I feel like the basis for belonging anywhere is understanding, what are you? who are you? If you strip everything else away that you do, or this was the one thing that was so transformational, to get a little bit spiritual
Mm.
in my experience with this mid-single adult congregation. My favorite thing to do was to offer priesthood blessings. What that is somebody would come in and say, I'm really struggling with something. Will you put your hands on my head and say a prayer? And our belief is that the heavens really want to communicate with these people, and they want to give them messages, and God really wants them to know things. And so it's just kind of a formal mechanism to help those people feel like they've heard some special message from heaven. There would be weeknights that I would go to the church house and offer priesthood blessings for 4 to 6 hours straight.
Wow.
And it was my favorite.
People are like in their yearnings and their reachings, right?
They feel like there's something out there they need to
Connection,
hear.
for
A
sure,
connection. Right? And one of my greatest moments in that setting was a gal who came in who was homeless. And I assumed she was coming in for money. And that was a big part of my job, actually, was to help people get back on their feet. Make sure they've got food and clothing and
Kind of the basic needs.
Yeah. Taken care of. And we took care of a lot of people. I figured that's what she was coming in for. And she said, I just need you to tell me what heaven wants me to hear today.
Mm.
And so I put my hands on her head, and I had this little thought, or, I don't want to call it a vision, or, but I saw, or I imagined this thing in my mind of who she was going to be one day.
Mm.
And not even in this life, but like her future. And it was the most glorious, magnificent, glory-filled,
Yeah.
vision. And I realized, that's the first time I kind of realized, like, once you figure out exactly who you are and you know it, then you're going to know how to belong.
Yeah. What does it mean to you to be known?
Oh my gosh. Once you know that, and my own personal belief is, I am a beloved son of God. And my own feeling of God is somebody who possesses all of the power in the universe and all of the knowledge, and yet still chooses to love me with all of my issues.
Mm.
And not just love me, but like fight for me.
The God of the big and the God of the small.
Yeah. He wants me so bad to have the greatest amount of happiness that I can have. That's my own belief.
Yeah. What if I challenged where you are in your life and I said, what if you never became the number one realtor? What if you never made more money than you make right now? What if one of your kids got really sick? What if your marriage, that's awesome, was like really struggling? What if you didn't get a calling that you really thrived and liked, that you really struggled with? Like that you were like, ugh, I don't know how I can bring myself to this. Like, are you enough?
Right. The initial reaction when I get down into the core of me, I know that I am.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But
because I love you, want you to say, I'm worthy. Yes. I'm enough. I'm inherently loved. I am, but like, I don't know that there's that many people that feel that.
I know there's not.
Yeah.
What I know from my experience with this congregation is that we learned 3 things that almost everybody feels. I'm alone in my struggles. No one else struggles with the same stuff I do. And I tell people now, I'm like, look down the pew. I promise somebody on the same pew is dealing with the same stuff. Like, not that I'm downplaying the heaviness of it at all, but we all have stuff is the bottom line.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'm not worthy. And number 3, I'm too far away to be rescued.
I missed the boat.
I missed the boat.
Yeah.
It's too late for me.
Yeah.
Yes. And really the true answer to that, none of those are true, and they couldn't be farther from the truth. Like, we all have stuff going on in our lives. We're all struggling, and there's great community to go belong and be in your misery. And
I can also say none of those have to do with being single.
yeah,
Though
no.
the title is sort of inherent that like these are the things that come with it. Because if you were to go to a different group of people, they would feel the same.
Yes.
People are lonely in their marriage.
In fact, after that, I went and became in a position in a different area that I spoke a ton, like every couple of weeks I was speaking in another congregation, and that was my message. Like, it doesn't matter who's in the congregation. It didn't matter if it was singles, marrieds, olds, youngs, like the message is the same. It's that come as you are with your baggage.
Lay it on the altar.
Lay it on the altar. And there's a community here where we are all suffering and we're all worth rescuing.
Yeah. And if it's not there, I guess is what I want to add. Sometimes we get wherever we are in our lives, we get a little bit in a victim mentality that if someone else doesn't build it for us, build the system, build the mechanism, build the belonging place, build the well. If there's not a well built, then
what?
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like, it's the person who's supposed to build the well's problem, right? Like, I just have always defied this, like, as a whole person. I've just been like, we came to earth with so much agency. We fought for that. And like, I use this term, like, activate your agency. Like, I wish more people would activate their agency to build, I say to build a kingdom, but to build the wells, to make the thing.
Go make the thing.
Yeah, it's super hard. I also talk like from a business standpoint. I've started my own nonprofit, and I did this podcast. I do things. It's like never easy to start the thing. Like, nobody wants to like start the train. Everybody wants to ride the train. There's this concept of like it's too hard to do the thing. Some people are producers and some people are consumers, and I think we mix up sometimes our purpose in life, and sometimes we know I'm a producer and I'm gonna produce till the day I die, and I need to find the balance, the dance between, does producing make me feel worthy, or can I be worthy without producing? And this is the dance I play. I imagine you have to ask this question to you and play this because of your circumstances with your family, with your kids, with your whatever. Like, there's a cost if you put all eggs in your business, right? Yeah, you can become the number one realtor, maybe at the cost of something else.
For what? Why in the heck does that does not even matter a little bit, right?
I mean, maybe you get a lot of money. Maybe you get a lot of notoriety. I know you at the core of who you are. That might feel good temporarily, but it's not what you were meant to be on this earth, right? Yeah. Like, you're a dad and you've got kids and you're a husband, and I would venture to guess that is the most important roles that you carry into everything that you do. I don't want to speak for you, but
you know what? And I'm actually like lamenting right now. Yesterday was a holiday, right? In Utah. And you know what I did?
Worked.
I went to work. Of course I went to work. You know what my kids did and my wife? They went to their cousin's house and swam with all of the cousins at cousin's pool, right? And now I'm sitting here like, what the heck was I doing yesterday? Was it that important that I was, working? Should I have been, at that barbecue and swimming? And anyway.
Thanks for your honesty. Could we dig in a little bit to this becoming? I don't usually talk very much specifically about people's businesses, but I would like to talk to you because I have been on the outside periphery of watching your life for 25 years, right? You already mentioned that you got an MBA and you were in, let's just say the Silicon Slopes world. You were in tech world. And I don't know, because I've never known how much money you make, never cared, but like, you're seemingly doing well. And you pivot. You make in my opinion, and I think if you put the things together, you make a big pivot. And I'm not going to prescribe this to you, but I'm going to tell you what I saw. And there was a learning curve. And you only put some of that out in public. So like, I can't imagine that there weren't. So you had to change your business's name because someone else had the name, and it was a really cool name.
Dang cool name. I'm still sad.
And you, I imagine, there's a big learning curve. You just announced that number 2, number 3 in the nation. Some people will spend their whole career to even get close to that, Adam. Like, I think, sitting across to me that, like, gains are different for different people, right? You're
Yeah.
chasing after number 1, and people are just trying to sell houses, period. They're realtors that are
Survive.
just like surviving, right?
Yep.
And this is fine. This is life. This is capitalism. This is like, do your thing. But can you talk to me a little bit about that? I know there's just a lot of people in their lives that are trying to pivot. They thought they were going to be this, and then they don't know. They wake up one day and they don't know what they want to be when they grew up. And they have this name and they have this thing. And I'm going to personally say that I'm asking this. So I have had different titles, and I've had the title for therapist for a long time. And I've been trying to pivot for the last few years from just being I'm going to say, kind of like you say, just a mom, from being people seeing me as like a therapist, because there's lots of sides to me and there's things that I want to do in my life. And it is rough out there to like pivot, even if you have the skills, and even if people know you have the skills, to call yourself something different. But you did that. And on a big scale, you went from this kind of a world to this kind of a world. And I am genuinely, this is for me and anybody else who listens, curious about that process.
Can I tell you how much I think about this exact thing? I go to lunch with somebody maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, and they ask me that question because everyone's feeling it.
They want it. So
everyone wants it so bad, and they feel like there's some dissatisfaction in the career. They feel like there's something they're missing, right? And they feel like maybe they can go achieve it in a different career setting or something.
More of their skills rather than this one set or whatever. Yeah.
So first and foremost, I wish the world knew that it's okay to change. Man, we are ingrained from the day we were born through elementary school, and I don't know where it even happens. I don't remember being told this, but somewhere in our culture, we believe that somehow we are supposed to pick our spouse, our career direction, our college location, and where we're going to live before we're old enough to drink, right?
No, yeah, I'm saying,
and that we're going to like it 20, 30 years from now, when we still have 10 to 30 years in a career left. Like, so.
This is why we have what we call the midlife crisis, right?
It really is.
I mean, this is literally where people are like,
yes. What's going on? I'm not happy here.
Yeah. Even if I have the people I want along with me, I'm not happy here.
Yes.
Yeah. Even if I spent my whole first part of my career getting to where the next step would be. I mean, I'm a testament. People are kind of in my life are like, why aren't you just opening up a private practice?
Yep.
This is the thing you've worked for. I'm like, well, this is the thing you think that I've worked for, but this is not where I want to end up. But this is the natural thing. But like, I don't actually want to do what I've been doing just on a different platform. I want to do something different. So like from my experience, I relate to this so much about like, okay, I'm in my mid 40s and I am
I allowed to change?
What I want to be when I grow up.
Exactly.
And I'm grown.
Yes. I still ask people in their 50s and 60s, what do you want to be when you grow up? And most of them still don't know.
Question.
Nobody knows still, right? So
just seeking.
So I feel like people need to be empowered to change. I also want people to be really responsible in that, because some people will use it as an excuse to change too much because of hard things that happen, right? So I would not change my path, which on the outside actually looks like grew up in construction and real estate, got a degree in construction and real estate, worked in construction and real estate after, got an MBA in finance and real estate, worked for Intel in real estate and construction finance, came to Adobe and was over a procurement group that did real estate and construction. And now I own a real estate business. That's what it looks from the outside. From the inside, I started school in optometry, went to advertising, landed in facilities management, finished in construction management, moved to Wyoming, flipped some homes and wholesaled, but quickly got a job in facilities and real estate management because the world was blowing up. This is 2009 when chaos. Okay. Go to an MBA thinking, no, I'm going to switch directions. I'm going to go corporate, whatever. Right. But I wouldn't change. So from the inside, it's actually a massive, like tons of this.
This is most of us.
Yeah. It really is.
I want to say.
And it's okay, right?
It's a
Give permission for
do-si-do, 2 steps forward, 10 steps back, turn around.
Yes.
I talk about this all the time. Like, for the people that think that there's this linear path and that I have missed the boat or whatever, like, the fundamental thought that you have is a thinking error. That's a therapy thing to say. That's a thinking error. If you walk around, one of the fundamental principles I want to teach, or that I want people to discover if they listen to The Belonging Place, is this. I'm going to sit with people who are really successful. We're not really going to talk about what they do and how they're successful. We're going to talk about their becoming, because people can relate to the becoming. Do I think there's a null hypothesis that in your becoming, if you do certain things, you then achieve? Yeah, I'm testing it out.
Yep.
I'm talking to people. Because the people that I happen to have, my propinquity of people is so rich. I love the people who are curious and fumbling and failing forward, and then redirect.
Yep.
They're figuring it out. Yeah. So inside of your story, you're doing a lot of that.
Doing a ton of it. And and I wouldn't change it because of the things that I learned along the way and the people that I met along the way, especially. I hated my time at Intel in Phoenix. I loved Phoenix. I loved the people there. The culture of Intel was so much in opposition to who I am as a person.
Interesting, yeah.
And yet, oh my gosh, I would not change that for anything. It was so foundational to developing financial rigor, decision-making rigor. Like, Intel was a place run by engineers, which meant defend every decision with proof and evidence and data, right?
Yeah.
And I love that because of what that made me become.
Yeah.
Right? Then I go to Adobe. And Adobe is a place where we'll make bad decisions if it means we save a relationship, actually. Okay? Completely opposite of Intel. We leave dead bodies on the road at Intel. We leave bad decisions on the road at Adobe.
Interesting.
But again, that coached me into really how to influence people. Because if I knew there was a right decision out there that we needed to, I had to do it very differently.
Yeah.
Right? And so now,
relationship based, we call
yes.
that. Yeah.
And so now as a business guy, like, I have the chops to go develop the really hardcore finance investment strategy, but I also know how to go tell the story now.
Yeah.
And to influence that through an organization. And so even though this road went like this and it was hard, this is why I say change responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quit just because it's hard, right? Like, all of this stuff is hard. And by the way, even as a business owner, like, we talked about needing to go work on some mental stuff as a business. Like, I'm going to tell you, there's 4 of my buddies. We all left at about the same time. We all went and bought or started businesses, and we were on speed dial with each other. Like, are you in a dark room today in the fetal position? And it was like, yep, I am. Or, hey, I'm shaking uncontrollably right now. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm having a nervous breakdown. Can you help me through this? Right? Like,
gosh, that's its own well, right?
It's its own, it's its own well. Exactly.
Those men. I mean, just to put a point on this, CEOs, many of which have ADHD, which craves novelty, which has executive function deficits. If they don't compensate for those deficits with other people, or like, they're failing as fast as they're succeeding, and the money usually shows success, but the internal drive and the thing, this isn't always connected to ADHD, but many of them do. Entrepreneurs are a lot of them.
I have 7 forms of ADHD.
Or neurodiversity. Yeah. Like, if you look around, they also have these strengths that allow them to do it, right? Like, they have an ability to lock in and just, like, be focused. If it's the thing they really like, at the cost of whatever else. But if it's not the thing they like. So there is a high suicide rate for C-suite people, because at the top, you're real lonely, and you're making a lot of, no matter how good your team is, you're making, decisions, and sometimes the decisions are other people's lives, and some they're your lives or whatever. Man, you just proved a point that I think everybody should have. You have some buddies that are in this well, that are also doing the same things, that you're checking in on each other, and people don't do that. They don't create that. They don't ask for that. They don't say, hey, you're doing this thing. They don't look along the side. They don't get mentors. And they're just white knuckling it. And maybe looking really successful at it, right? And because of that duality, it's like I can't show this other side because this will impact my whatever bottom
People won't
line,
choose
my
my business
image,
'cause
whatever.
they
Yeah.
whatever. Yep.
And they burn themselves out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, um, there's all sorts of stats about businesses being successful, and you know, your chance of actually starting a business and having that business still be around in 5 years is virtually zero.
Yeah.
My own experience tells me that it actually has nothing to do with the numbers or the viability of the business, and it's everything between what happens between the ears and in the chest of that entrepreneur. Because there were so
Gosh,
many
tell me more about
moments
that. Yeah.
where literally, okay, so this would have been what, 2022 summertime, June probably. I had 1 month where I made 6 figures. Okay, personal income to me 6 figures in 1 month. The next day,
Can I just pause for a second and just say that blows my mind as a person, and maybe I'm out of myself, who has never made 6 figures in my life.
Okay,
This is wild. And also,
It's
like,
wild.
this is what?
It's
okay.
wild. Okay, so I'm like a year and a half into this business. I have a 6-figure month, and the moment kind of like the last deal in that flurry closes, I am in full panic mode of, can I feed my family? Can I make this business work? You know,
There's that soul part of me that's like, yeah.
and so the reason I say like a lot of these businesses fail, none of those thoughts were rational, right? But they are so incredibly
You're saying
paralyzing.
rational because the money's there.
The money's there.
Yeah.
I've got, like, at that point, you know, I've got years worth of, I could do nothing and be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
And by the way, I'm not going to be doing nothing.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm going to be more than fine. And yet at the same time, like, my pipeline is thinner than I want it to be. Panic.
Mm.
I wake up in the mornings, huge heavy load on my chest, that weight's on the chest, and I'm like, okay, is it time to go back to corporate? Or can I still deal with this? Right? Like,
Yeah.
for so many mornings. And
Corporate because you go to work and you
Safer.
get a check and it's stable.
the paycheck fairy comes. Even though it's tiny, you know, like the paycheck fairy comes. And so there was lots of those thoughts, and never once actually did I think what I'm dealing with today is worse than what I felt in corporate. Even though that was
I would take
heavy.
all of it.
I will take all of this.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that I never felt that way in corporate. I never felt that panic and that anxiety and that just huge pressure and the mental loads. What I felt in corporate was soulless.
Mm.
I'm not doing anything that's really, truly important here.
Some people call it like silver or golden handcuffs, right? You might be making enough money, but you don't have this other thing that we just love and crave, which is freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom of whatever. Freedom to create, freedom to do, freedom to...
Yep.
I actually am learning more personally, but also looking around me, that I think it's because when we put ourselves in jobs, we sort of slot ourselves and we get really good at certain skills in one area. And then we're specialists in that area and we're really good at it. But as people, we're like whole beings that love all kinds of things. And that by the time you're in your mid 40s, you've gathered a lot of people and skills and like, well, I don't know if everybody, I'll speak of me. I've gathered so many great people and so many great skills. I've done a lot of businesses. I've done a lot of work. I've kind of steadily been a therapist, but on the side, I've done lots of things, partly because I can, because I'm single. But you sort of see yourself as like not wanting to be the one thing that someone happens to be paying you a check for right now, even if you like love it. And I would say, even if you're good at it, and sometimes if you're good at it and don't love it, this is the biggest anchor, is that like people will say, but you're so good at it. And it's like, just because you're good at something doesn't mean that it is, the other thing that I think we are looking for doesn't mean that I feel purpose.
Yep.
Because purpose, freedom, and financial, and there's a few other things, family, right? These are the things that like really help us feel like we can thrive, not just like exist, but that we can flourish, right? If I don't feel purpose, I'm in the want. And I think this is where people kind of be like, okay, I got really good at this one thing, but it's not the whole of me and who I am. And what do you say about that?
There's a lot of people. Yes, there's there's the thing I say in real estate. I'm in real estate. A lot of people come and they're like, well, what should I buy? I'm an investor. What should I buy?
Yeah.
Right. And the first thing I tell them is you need to go figure out your investor ID first, your investor identification. Like there's lots of different types of assets for you to buy, and they all depend on what you are like psychologically. And so the reason I'm bringing that up is because I actually came to the conclusion when I was in corporate that it did not matter what I did at all. I did accounting. I did, literal construction. I did influence. I did negotiation. I did all these things. And there were some things that were more fun.
Yeah.
But I came to the conclusion that happiness in my job had to do with the people I was around and feeling productively busy. Okay. So that I really truly believed it really didn't matter my scope. Now, productively busy is a it's a really purposeful word.
Yeah.
Busy is one thing, but feeling productively busy means I'm adding value. I'm moving the needle, right? And so that's where I say, like, there is a really wonderful world in corporate and having a job. I'm not one of those entrepreneurs that's like, that just is going to poo-poo on having a job. I hear that way too much.
Up that ladder on it.
I climbed up the ladder and I did very, very well, by the way. And I was, a lot of people would be disappointed probably if they heard how much I was making in corporate to leave to go become a realtor. Like, I'm bottom of the barrel now. I know this, but the reason I'm bringing this up is to say, like, I want people to feel confident and feel really good about having jobs in corporate if that's their career ID. Figure out your career ID. There's a really good path there. And you can find tremendous amounts of happiness. For me, that meant, again, being productively busy and being surrounded by people I really, really liked.
Yeah, I listened to you on I don't know if it's a couple or it was one podcast. I had a couple clips. They were interviewing. It was a real estate podcast. This is one of the things I love about you. I was just like, oh, I'm going to hear what Adam has to say. They wanted to ask you real estate questions, and you answered life. I was super proud, Adam. Not that you can't sit and like answer real estate questions, but sure. They asked you a couple of books and you gave some good books, but they weren't necessarily real estate books. No. They were just good books. Yeah. They asked you about, they were, I think, trying to ask you about like how you got to be number 2. And you said you, in my opinion, pivoted the question to like, it's about the people that I know and that I'm around. And I thought, man, I just like couldn't be more proud and more love you more as a person that like, I'm not sure that it's true what you said. I believe you because I had the same thoughts about some of my companions on my mission, but at the same time as you were maybe dragging some companions along, you were so fiercely loving people on the mission. Everybody knew Elder Lancaster, and you were a Spanish-speaking missionary, and that in and of itself was hard to do because you're like away. As much as you have, my witness of you, as much as you have had tenacity and a crazy work ethic and maybe a little bit of like running at a pace that people along you cannot keep up to. And there's some trauma and some sadness and some opportunity cost in that. Like you have always been a deep, loving, relationship-based person. You've always looked around at the people around you. Like you even made a comment when I was showing you the picture from 25 years ago that you're still friends with missionaries from our mission. I mean, that tells you something about like the people you collect and the people that us sitting right here, right? One of the things that I have loved about our friendship through these, we haven't done it very recently, but is you just picking up the phone and being like, hey, can you come play the piano for me so I can sing? Yeah. And me saying like, hey, can you come play the piano for me to sing? I have a million people I know that play the piano. I don't know if you know, but man, something about you playing for me or me playing for you, all the way from that and using a skill set that neither of us do professionally that we love. There's something about that belonging, that building, that, any thoughts about any of that?
Totally. My gosh. You made me maybe feel a little bit better about my mission just now. Maybe just in the sense of um, maybe being dragged along is what some of these missionaries needed.
I think.
Maybe.
we speak the same language, so I'm going to say yes. Somebody sitting here at the table that was dragged might say it was too painful. I like to think that in the pursuit of building the kingdom, sometimes you need somebody who's going to drag you along. Yeah.
And then the other thought that came was that I'm recruiting agents all the time, right? And to come join our team. And by the way, I don't think I will ever become the number one agent, because I am now shifting away from being the guy myself to creating a team
mentoring
and helping them become that guy. So,
gosh, that's what I call legacy.
To
me, legacy isn't necessarily being the GOAT. You could disagree with me. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's using your skills and talents and creating, in my words, I would say generational healing. So I don't know what the business version of that is, but like generational legacy or generational skills. If you can get 5, 6, 10 people that you're training that have their skills, and gosh, what a legacy.
I'm learning quickly that I said that like my mantra is just go help somebody today, but underlying that is our mission is go help as many people as possible through the most emotional and expensive transaction of their life. Right? And so I realize I can go help twice as many people myself if I work harder, but I can't go help 10 times as many people myself. I have to equip the next generation with the tools that I know and teach them how to go do it. And by the way, the tool we teach is so backward to everyone else in this industry. And this is what I'm coming back to with the people. You go join any one of these mega real estate teams right now, and all they do is they pump in tons of money to buy leads from Zillow and all these other things. And they just try to equip you with leads to turn and burn. I have never, ever paid for a lead, ever. I only just stay connected with people that I know, like, and trust. That's powerful. That's all I do in my whole business. And that's enough in just my own little phone book, my little contact app in my phone, to become number 2 in the country. Okay. So what's interesting is
I want to pause for a second.
Yes.
Because I want to put an emphasis on, because this is my podcast, I want to put an emphasis on the power of connection.
Yes.
And the power that connection leads to belonging. Because we both have phones filled with people. I have a Facebook that has 2,500 friends.
Yes.
They are all people I know. I would probably have 5,000, whatever, if it was acquaintances. I don't have anybody on there. I'm sure you have whatever. Followers, numbers. There's something that's its own skill set. So I just want to say, this is one of the things I love and value about you. This is how we spin by each other, is because I see you as just like a people gatherer, a connector, a community builder. But it's not enough to just be connected to people. Right. They got to feel seen.
Exactly.
They got to feel heard, and they need to feel like they matter. These are also therapy words, but I think they apply to everything. Like if people feel seen, if they feel heard, and they feel like they matter, even if you're not spending time with them all the time, when you pick up your phone to do whatever, to get leads from them, to ask them, like, even though you're trying to sell, they like know you as a person. They know you're also selling. Like, you can't hide this.
Do you know what I do though?
Yeah.
This is our secret.
You're going to give your secret out? Be careful. I'm just kidding.
The word forward. Okay.
Yeah.
I have never asked anyone for a lead. I have never asked anyone for a referral. When I call people, I ask them about their family, their occupation, their recreation, and their dreams.
Yeah. I love that. Forward. Okay.
So that they feel heard and seen and connected. They already know that I'm in real estate. I don't have to bring that up ever.
Yeah.
I really don't. And so my job is to help people feel heard and seen. That's all I do.
Yeah.
I pick up the phone.
Relational based, right? Like you're like, okay.
Okay. So to bring this back around, when I hired a partner, and I started to talk about when I'm interviewing agents. I'm going to come right back to that.
Yeah.
I brought a partner on because I am complete visionary, chase nuts like a squirrel all over the place. And it's a million miles an hour, but sometimes not in the same direction. So
you need a steadying force.
Yes, I hired an engineer, okay, to bring him in. I told my wife.
I love engineers.
Yes, me too.
Black and white.
Yes.
Numbers and things.
I told my
steady.
wife. I'm like, hey, I need the male version of you to be my partner. She's very detailed, great planner. She's amazing. She's the perfect
Shout
partner
out to
for
Becky.
me.
We love you.
Shout out to Becky. And I told her who I was going to go have lunch with that day. And she's like, my gosh, when you said the male version of me, like this is me on steroids. Like what? Anyway, I convinced him. He joined. He's helping so much. It drove him crazy when I was like, we're driving down to Beaver today to have lunch with a guy. And he's like, we're going to spend 8 hours of our day to have lunch with a guy.
This pair is so great.
Yes.
Because you're like, yeah.
Yes, we are. And I'm going to teach you why.
The foundation of my business is relationships.
Exactly. It drove me crazy. He even called his wife. Mel, we're wasting a day. I don't know what's going on, right? Like, but today you ask him if, and we've talked about this a lot. If he were sitting right here, he'd be like, I get it now. I get it now. So when I'm bringing agents in, I'm coming back to this. I'm bringing agents in. I'm interviewing him. I say, how many people are in your sphere? So many people say, oh, 25. And I'm like, what? 25? Like, do you go to a church congregation? Well, yeah. How many people go there every week? I don't know, 150, 200. Okay. Do you
work?
Like what's, like, anyway, so there's this really small mindset of what your sphere really is.
Your circle of influence.
Your circle.
Propinquity.
Yes. Your circle of influence. What else did you call it?
Propinquity.
Propinquity. I've never heard that word.
That is literally like Wyoming. Your circle of influence, right?
Okay. And what we teach them to do is really deeply connect. The aha moment, the light bulb moment for me in how valuable and powerful that the circle of influence was. I had a contest with a guy I know. He's got 4 million followers. I have a normal amount, 2,000-ish, right? On my Instagram, maybe 1,500 or something. Not a lot. And the goal was to see how many donors we could get to this really important cause.
Gosh, I love this so much. The setting up.
I crushed him with my little 1,500 followers who were deeply connected to each other, and his 4 million followers that he thought they were friends. But the powerful of a really small sphere that's really knit together tight is so valuable. And I don't say this, it's valuable in your business and it, like it's going to make you money. Like it's valuable because you become the greatest minister you can be to somebody who needs help, who feels loved. The first thing I did when I quit my job is I looked through my MBA classmates, like 160 something of them. And I was like, I'm kind of freaking out. I just quit. But my text to them was, this is right when the world shut down with COVID.
Yeah.
I quit May 22nd, 2020.
Wow.
Right a week after my business, like Adobe had shut its doors and right, everyone's at home now. And my message was, hey, I got a new phone number. Felt like a great excuse to reach out. Are you doing okay? That's all I said. And there were like 10 people who had lost their jobs, right? And so now I'm in the fight. Let's help you get back on your feet.
Yeah.
Right? And so having those connections is so much more valuable than making money and having a business.
But you would say, and I would say on the networking side, those people that land and they flourish in their job or whatever, like never would I think you'd be a person that would necessarily take advantage of that. But what happens in your belonging places is that they weave a safety net for you.
Yep.
Like you're not really ever, like when I say, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to be when I grow up. My belonging place will conspire for my good.
Yep.
Like, I won't be hungry. I won't starve. I have a good work ethic, but like I will never not have a job. I might not do the thing that I want for a while, or like, and that some of that is me. I'll give myself credit. Majority of that is the infusion of like love that I've given and received in the world as I have like just lived my life. There's like a path strewn of hearts that I've knit.
Yep.
Like if there's one thing I could like do with this podcast, it would be to convince people that knit your hearts with all kinds of people and you'll never be lonely.
I was having this conversation with my wife last night. The way I say what you said is, if you want to make withdrawals, make sure you've made deposits.
And more deposits than withdrawals.
Way more deposits.
Yeah.
Spend your life making deposits, and you actually won't have to make withdrawals because people just will want to naturally start making deposits with you.
It's wild. And this is not, I say this in this line. It's wild the amount of money and people and power that I have in my propinquity. As a person who doesn't make much money, and as a person who hasn't necessarily valued that. Sure, would I like to have more money? Yeah. Because with money you can do more. Yep. You can give more and do more, right? But that I would consider, that I would say that there are my friends that I could potentially tap into, that I never do and never have to, because that's not why they're in my phone. That's not why they. But I'd be lying if I said at some point, if I fell through the ice, I wouldn't feel like those people wouldn't have to be asked, but they would come running. Yep. I kind of wish we didn't have to fall through the ice for people to come running. But there's something to be said about fortifying like your life, right? And if you want to fortify your life, it's not about money. It's about people. Yep. People will always be better outcomes for you than things, jobs, objects, people that are buying things. Like, you can't fall back on your really nice car, or you're like, don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem. Build your life, like build capital. Like, I'm a big fan of work hard and then spend your money, but like those things can go like that, especially if the other things that you matter, someone gets sick. Like I said, something happens, somebody dies, because we do. It's wild. If you put your energy in the wrong places, even if there's like good, better, best, right? And it's just like trying to dance, I think, is where most of us are trying to figure it out, right? Like, too much energy here, and then you can't support the foundations of your life, right? Which we need. Too much energy here, and you might lose this. I think sometimes people don't like one of the things I look at your life is you had built a good nest egg so that you could fall back on when you were doing your thing. This is something I think not a lot, when you're saying to be smart, right? Like, maybe take a job you don't love and you're passionate enough, but make a good amount of money so that you can then buy yourself some leeway to build the thing that you want to do, right? There's like this opportunity cost thing where make a smart.
There's something that you just said that that I want to lean back in on here again, and that's really truly what brings happiness. The Harvard Grant study, 75-year-long study on happiness.
I love this.
Oh my gosh, right? Like, and in the end, what yields happiness I remember there's like two sections: before the age of 40 and after the age of 40. It changed a little bit, but before 40, if you serve people and have enough money that you're not freaked out about it, like make enough, not have, possess, net worth, like make enough money that you're not freaked out about it all the time, and service to people. One additional dollar did not provide a single incremental value unit of happiness to people. Okay?
In fact, they found that there was kind of a cap at a certain point that like any money above that, you're actually less happy. Yeah,
exactly. Okay. So then at the age of 40, there's this new element that gets added, which is like, how deep are the relationships with the people around you? That's it.
In essence, it's like, do you have friends? I mean, it's deeper than that, but this is what the study says.
Yeah.
Did you do enough bids of connection Did you receive enough bids of connection that when you're sitting around being like, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, you can call up a friend and say, I literally the other day, I have a great career. I work for a wonderful nonprofit. And I was like, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. Can I sit you? It's a husband and a wife. They've both been on my podcast. They both run incredible businesses. They make more money
Mm.
than I can imagine. I tend to be in rooms with people that make more money than
Hmm.
I can imagine, which is awesome to be in the rooms with people that are just making decisions. And I'm sitting there asking them questions about me, reflecting questions. Cause like, we have blind spots.
Mhm.
What do you think when I say this and I want this? And it's a business meeting in essence. Like they're my friends, but we're having a let's put some names up on a whiteboard. Let's do the thing. Let's work the problem, There's something incredible about sitting with people who love you and know you, don't have a business together, don't have that, are able to say, list some pros and cons for you, list some value add, and also in my like strivings of grief, like what I don't have and what I wish I had and what I do have and what is amazing, for them to be able to reflect a little bit of this um goodness, I guess, like the goodness that's out there, and how you can't always quantify it by money and you can't always quantify it by things. It's pretty powerful to be able to lean on. And nobody asked me this, but if somebody were to ask me, you seem like you're pretty happy single, what is that about? Because most people are sad. I would say, first, I would say happiness is relative. And second, I would say, all people are happy and sad wherever they are. Single doesn't
Yep.
make this different. People are lonely in marriages.
Yep.
People are but I would also say it's because I am the most connected single person. I'm probably not, but I feel like loneliness isn't about being alone. Loneliness is about being disconnected.
Interesting.
So if you can connect yourself to people and things, if you can produce in a way that you feel purpose, when you lay your head down at the end of the night, sometimes for people, if you have enough money, I'm not even going to take that off the table. I'm sufficient for my needs, right? Gosh, then you can wake up the next day and then you can even ask the question, hey, God, how can I serve?
Yes.
If you're so entangled in your survival, if you're so entangled in me, if you're so entangled in what I don't have and that I missed the boat, and then how could you even have space in your cup? In the Buddhist cup, they say it's so full. There's no way to fill it with anything else, right? You are a great example of having negotiable space, is what I call it. In my book, I write about this, filling your life with good and producing. But why do I know you have negotiable space? Because you call me and you say, I'm going to go sing somewhere. There's negotiable space. Because while you didn't go to that swim party, you do go on trips and take your kids and personally spend time with them. And you still date your wife. And you love dating your wife, right? You're not just married to her. There is an importance, not just in your business, but in the way that you are, Adam, as a person that says people first. I think this is my reflection of you.
I sure try to. I mean, it is natural. I do try to be that way. I feel like there's so much more happiness when you're in good momentum of thinking others and serving. And I will say that one of the only natural drugs when I was going through my heavy mental stuff was just go serve somebody. It actually did remove those pains. And as long as I was thinking about somebody else and doing something for them, I felt like the pain left, actually,
Yeah.
There's something you just said. Can I share a pet peeve?
Yeah.
It's in agreement with what you just said. We all feel like there's greater happiness somewhere else.
Yeah. The grass is greener. Grass
is always greener, right? And sometimes I see that manifest in, will you, as a married person, a married person would say, well, you have no idea because you're not tied down, right? It's happier where you're at, right? And a single person might say, well, you have no idea, whatever, loneliness, you don't experience this. The thing that the place that I actually see it manifest the most is in, well, you have so much money. People look at famous people and they're like, you're not allowed to feel sad. because you're wealthy or you have this much money, as if your life problems and struggles go away just because there's a different number in the bank account when you open up.
I mean, let's bring it way down closer. I made a comment in this podcast about money, right? I want to live in a world where you matter the same to me if you make what you just said, which blew my brain. I mean, that was my authentic response to you, right? Like, I want to live in a world where it doesn't matter how much you make.
Yeah.
Like, I love you because I met you when you were 20, and am I so proud of who you are? I don't even know if I have a right to be, but am I so proud of the man you've become and the person you are? But zero of that has to do with your money. Right. You know what I mean? I would hope the same is true. I would hope that you don't care that I'm never going to be rich, probably because of the career that I've chosen, and that just doesn't weigh in.
It just doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative for that, and I've looked up to you for so long. It was really fun for me to reflect on our friendship. We've been friends for
so long, yeah,
long time, and
lots of life.
Yeah, through lots of life. Period.
Yeah,
different circumstances and phases, and yes, exactly what you said is you said it way better than I did, which is when you place that focus on money, you become so totally out of whack in reality, and we are all just people going through life dealing with crap.
Yeah, can I flip the script a little? Because some people might say that my story is to say that people that give value back to people are more important than people that make money. And so I want to go on the record and say this. I don't think that's true either. I've always kind of said we need the Mother Teresas and we need the Steve Jobs or whoever you put I don't love these people always, but the Bezos. We need the people who have the money to put the computers in the schools.
Yep.
And we need the people that are going to hang and hold the hearts of people who are dying or people who are speaking their unspeakable things. We need people who are going to get people in homes, whatever size that is, right? And we need people who are going to sit and listen to kids that have been sexually abused. I mean, I don't think there's different value. I think if you are creating value, if you're adding value, if you are doing it with a good heart, I also would add if you're building the kingdom, because that's how I am as a person. And you are looking around and you're serving. I mean, you spoke to this multiple times. I want to speak to something that's specific to you and me, but I can't remember what year it was. But it was a little while after our mission. I was thinking a lot about how when we served our mission, there were no phones and we were barely on emails, right? And it was kind of hard to connect, and San Diego's really transient, and so I was kind of being bummed about being disconnected to all the people that I had loved and served, and oh man, kind of being jealous of people who were connected. And this idea came to my mind. I was like, oh, I'm not always good at being a technology accelerator person, but I thought, I wonder if I create this belonging place, which I didn't call it at the time, but I wonder if I just make a well, put a thing on Facebook that invites people. I wish it was more monumental than it's become. It wasn't a monumental moment. It was just do this. I'm interested in your thoughts about that and what that happened, and then I'll tell you what's happened with that sense. But I
think it is monumental. I do.
Yeah.
And I'm just remembering right now that it was you that put that together.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that. As you were saying that, I did remember it. I think it is monumental. I have used that well to remember.
Yeah.
And I've used that well to reconnect. And that reconnection has led to some really important conversations, with people who are struggling with whatever they're dealing with at the moment. And it's led to me racing up to another part of the state and having lunch with somebody that I could only find through this Facebook group. And so you need to know how monumental it has been for the lives of many, as few people post and commented on it or whatever. I think it's being used way more than you think.
And I am not bringing that to like brag. I'm bringing that to say to people, the wells that you build are not like go out and physically build. They're like, use what you have.
Mm-hmm.
It was a moment of just like, it would be great if people could update their lives. Now that has, for decades, I think we're over a decade at least, people have trickled in and trickled out and trickled in. People have testified, retestified. People have talked about their businesses. People have talked about dust. People have talked about divorces. People have, our mission president popped in. I wish he would pop in again. This is a shout out.
Yeah.
President Fisher.
Come on.
There is right now on Facebook, wanting you to give your, an update with us.
There's a pending post
There is
that you need to respond to.
I bring this up because I think this is how it goes, right? Like you just build where you can and where you're at, and then it adds value outside of what you could ever do to it. And people, you still to this day, I have people that are requesting to come in. Some of those missionaries, when they request to come in, I know them from our mission. Some of them I don't, because it's kind of like a little bit before and a little bit after. I want to ask you maybe one last question.
Before you ask the question, I have to comment on something that you said that's really, really important.
Yes.
We talked a little bit about investor ID, figure out who you are to know what to invest in. Your career ID, figure out really what's important to you to know how to navigate your career. What you just said was just figuring out your individual ID. You're a therapist, and that's the best and highest use of you, right? And it might only be for a season.
Yeah.
But it is right now.
Yeah.
Your best and highest use of what you can do for other people, for humanity, and for this world, and for you.
Yeah.
And as wild as it sounds, I chose to go become a real estate agent, which really is like car salesman, real estate agent. You know, we're down at the bottom of the barrel. I know that. After multiple degrees, graduate degrees, and lots of experience, and tipping at the level of executive, even in corporate. And so, but I chose it because I knew it was the highest and best use of me to go help humanity. I know that I can do this really well in a manner that's going to be really valuable for people.
Yeah.
And that part of me is actually phasing out. My ability to execute really well at a high pace is phasing out. And so I now have to go create an army of other people that can do that really well and expand that influence.
Built a well, you're now bringing people to it, right?
Yes.
Like, so they can experience it. And
So what I want communicated, which is what you said, and I'm just saying in a different way, is go figure out the thing that you can lift the best at. And it might be being a mother, and it might be being a car salesman, and it might be being a therapist, and it might be, there's so many things. But you can find value to add value to humanity in any one of those things, as gross as some people might think that career is.
Yeah.
Find that thing and lean in and become great at it, because it's what you need to do and we're meant to do now.
And not only that, bring your whole self.
Yes.
One of the things I've loved watching on LinkedIn, particularly in Utah, because that's where I am, and particularly sort of the Silicon Slopes, in the last 4 or 5 years, I'm super active on LinkedIn. I've been on to lots of events, networking things. I kind of have a love affair with the tech world. I'm not in the tech world, but I have a little bit of a love affair with it. So, but one of the things that I noticed happened crazy awesome was a shift from LinkedIn being only about business. And some really high producing C-suite people started saying stuff about their mental health. And some people started saying this. And then some people started writing about leadership, even though that wasn't their business. And next thing you know, we have a belonging place. It's not a social media platform, depending on where you are, I'm saying. And that has conspired for so many people's good. Like people will say, I'm looking for a job, and connections to connections or sharing and reposting. I don't know this person, but I know the person that they're connected to, and I want to conspire for their good. I think if you bring your whole self to something, I'm just using LinkedIn as an idea that used to be just business. Whatever part of the world that you're in, and even maybe sometimes when it's not the thing that is like the standard, right? When we bring our whole selves, when we serve people, when we bring maybe not even the thing that's in your job, but the other piece is I think we can't help but like invite other people to make the best changes in themselves, because what you said earlier is just like, I live in the world, in the business that people can change. Like, this is my whole world, right? Like, you can change. When people come to me in their worst circumstances, the thing that I'm always going to give back to them is that, like, you can change. You have everything you need to do something different or something to change. Do it smart, do it safe, do it with, like, a good floor underneath you, but like, you can change, right? Yeah.
Amen. Thank you. I felt like that needed to be said. So,
Yeah. I
thank
want
you.
to ask you this question. The question is, what is something you wish more people knew about you?
Man, what do I wish people knew about me? There's a couple things that just came into my mind. So, I've been given the feedback. When I was in corporate, I got this feedback twice a year during like the, hey, we're going to email all your peers and they're going to tell us what they think about you and all this stuff. I got the feedback every single time when I was employed for twice a year for 8 years. It came out in one of two forms. Your upon first meeting you, my first insight was you're extremely arrogant. Or they would say, when I first met you, I thought you were way too salesy. Okay, one of those two things. And then they would always follow it up with, but now that I know you, I know that's not actually what's going on. Okay, so I have been fighting for years to get better feedback and context on what that looks like, actually. And I'm still struggling. People won't actually tell me what that looks like. But what's interesting when you ask this question, what do you want the world to know a little bit more about you?
Not even the world, just people around you.
People around
me.
It's that I'm a really vulnerable little boy on the inside that maybe that comes out because I'm actually overcompensating for being uncomfortable around really amazing people that at my heart, I really truly love to be around and to help and to serve and to be with and to be connected with people. And that I'm just this little self-conscious little boy on the inside looking up to everybody around me. And for some reason that comes across as this like self-righteous, egotistical dude somehow. And
do you think that it's because the Adam that you are today, even though cowboy, Star Valley boy is in you, there is an image that isn't the humble cowboy guy?
maybe.
I guess I feel really blessed in your life because I just met you and you're so becoming. Right?
Definitely. Definitely in the throes of becoming.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I met you in a place that everybody else was also trying to figure it out. Yeah. One of my favorite places I've ever been was from a spiritual place was when I lived in Boston and I was in a singles congregation, and everybody there, this is my term, I'm not telling people that they were broken, but everybody came. There was more people that were considered what we call inactive or like had left the church. There were more people that were sort of hanging on by their fingertips that were filling that congregation than I've ever been in my life. And I could not have marinated in it more. I was just like, this is what it's for. Like, not to have the answers and not to be good about it. There were more people in jeans. There were more people. It's like this old, like, we want to smell smoke in the chapel because like, this is where, and I was like, oh, this is how I've never really experienced that in my modern day life. But this is how it felt there, was that everybody was choosing to receive grace. It didn't matter how you came to the table. I think that like when we were on our mission and we're meeting people, everybody was trying to figure out how to receive grace. And we were floundering, and we had a mission leader who was awesome. And he was just like, you have more to give, so give more. By the way, I'm going to give you some discipline to do that will, and by the way, like, I'm going to call you to leadership positions that you probably like don't have a clue, but then you will have a clue. That's when I met you, and you were still part cowboy.
Yep.
And you still are. I guess that would be my only thought is, as much as you love that part of you, if there's any way for you to let that part of that flag fly in your life and in your business or whatever, like, you love it so much. I don't know if you hold it so tight because you love it so much, but I think it's really that Adam is really relatable from the very surface part of you. I love all of you.
Let the cowboy come out.
Let the cowboy come out.
I need to start wearing a different hat.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of already answered this, so you may not have anything more, but when you think of the word belonging, or you've said you thought a lot about like the belonging place, like, is there anything that specifically comes out that you haven't been able to say? Is there anything left on the table? Yeah.
It came to my mind like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. Okay.
And the question set it up perfectly.
Okay.
It's a story of being a cowboy.
Okay.
So in April of 1940, my grandpa Vernon was in 5th grade.
Okay.
And this is going to take a minute to like set this up and figure out why this is a story of belonging.
Yeah.
But in 5th grade, this would have been in the setting where like K through 12 might have been in the same room.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Right.
Probably. Yeah.
So in 1940, he's in 5th grade and he's sitting in his school, and he looks out the window and he sees a band of sheep. So a band is about 1,000 sheep. He sees a band of sheep kind of migrating toward the school. And he sees 2 horses. One of them has a rider and the other one is saddled and just being pulled along by the rider. He doesn't really know what's going on, but the closer the sheep and these 2 horses come, he eventually realizes that one of them is his dad, and that other horse is probably meant for him.
Oh.
He watches his dad walk into the classroom and start having a conversation with the principal. And Vernon at that time, Grandpa Vernon, realizes school is over.
Done.
For me this year. So spring had come early that year. And what that means up there, our family, the Lancasters, we always ran sheep, and we didn't run a ton of sheep. So they had a band, 1,000 sheep, which wasn't a ton. But because spring had come early, they had to get the sheep off of the farm, right? So that they could start raising crops. And the sheep would graze on the forest land during the summer. So
he had to go herd sheep.
He had to go herd sheep, and he had to do it alone.
Oh.
So Grandpa Vernon, as a 5th grader, 11 years old, saddled his horse and took his 1,000 sheep up into the forest. He was given enough food for 2 weeks and enough bullets to last the summer. 1940 also was a time where the coyotes were so thick that the Lincoln County was giving $50 for a pair of ears. So it was evidence that you had killed a coyote.
Got it.
$50 today is over $1,100. Okay. That's how like much of a pest and a nuisance and how important it was to get rid of these. 11 years old, 1 gun, enough ammo to last the summer, i.e., please protect our family livelihood.
Yeah.
And here's enough food for 2 weeks. And then they left him.
This is just wild.
2 weeks later, Grandma Ella shows up with 2 weeks more food. Gives her boy some hugs and kisses.
His mom? Oh, yeah,
His mom.
Yeah.
And then leaves again. And Vernon stayed that entire summer all alone. And so, what in the world does this have anything to do with belonging? As I've thought about belonging this week, this story has come to my mind over and over and over. The next summer, he was allowed to bring his buddy Dale Johns with him. So now there's 2 little kids.
Yeah.
They're 12.
Yeah.
And this summer, their forest allotment had been moved to be up by a place. Okay, I'm going to say like a Wyoming guy.
Yeah, please.
This is in Poker Holler. Okay.
Poker Holler.
And the Thompson band ran 20 bands of sheep, the Thompson crew. So tons of sheep over there. They were aware of these two little Lancaster kids running their band of sheep by themselves. Enough so that there was a cook in town named Ruby. And Reuben Brown. So Ruby would come and deliver food to the Thompson crew. And one time Ruby was like, "What is going on over there?" And they said that's the Lancaster band, and it's two 12-year-old kids. And so Ruby Brown, like in the goodness of his heart, goes and wanders over there. And what he finds is two kids that are just filthy and have piles of sage grouse and fish, but they're starving because they don't know how to cook them. Okay. So Ruby Brown goes into town, brings some cooking supplies, and he spent some time over the next few weeks teaching them how to cook and feed themselves.
Oh,
and
gosh, I love this.
Okay. What in the world does all of this have to do with belonging? I asked Grandpa, like, was that hard? Like, that's a dumb question. Was that hard? You know, like 1940s, would that be considered something that's a difficult thing to do, Grandpa? And he's like, of course that was hard. But this is where belonging comes in. But you got to do what you got to do. So Grandpa Vernon felt a belonging enough to his family that he was willing to go spend a summer sleeping in the wilderness with all these infestation of coyotes and a job to protect their family's livelihood with these 1,000 sheep, that he would go do that willingly as an 11-year-old, and not only go do that, but go do it again.
Yeah.
And so your ability to go, we've talked about performing.
Yeah.
Your ability to go do and perform has so much to do with, do I feel like I belong to my tribe, and what am I willing to go do for them?
Yeah. Exclamation point.
Amen.
I'm going to tell you one last story. I was going to end, but it keeps coming to my mind. And this is because you're a realtor and you're sitting across from me, and maybe some people will, in the real world, will see this. And just to kind of put an emphasis on seeing people as people. One of my perks of my company that I worked for at the time was that they had a realtor that would pay the fees. So I didn't have to pay the fees, was the perk. And so this is how I found my realtor. So I didn't seek to understand or find anybody. I just took the business
Good
realtor.
Perk.
Yeah. And he was great. And I didn't know what I wanted. And I thought that I wanted this and I didn't want this. And one of the things I loved about him is he kept asking me just like, what do you think? And I kept saying, I don't know. Because I knew I wanted to buy a house before I was 40. And I had lived with my parents for 2 years to save the down payment. And I'm 39. And I just was up my own time crunch. Does that make sense? And I don't know how long most people look. I ended up looking for 8 weeks. I don't know if that's short or long. Is that short or long?
Pretty normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that 8 weeks, I thought I wanted a house. Well, I am allergic to grass. I can't cut my own grass. I would have to pay someone. He kind of heard this thing. He's like, maybe you don't want a yard, but I was so against, I don't know why at the time, a townhouse or a condo. So we went, and I even put a down payment on a house and thought this was it. I brought my family in. And I could tell from the minute they walked in that they were just like, no. And it was a wild experience to see people you love. It's kind of like introducing them to somebody you're going to date and be like, and I had already had second guesses, but in my budget and in my location, it was good. It had a big backyard. And it was just the look on my dad's face and my mom's face and that seed of doubt. Anyway, so I don't buy this house. I get out of it. And we do a little dance again where I'm like looking at houses, and then he kind of says like, maybe let's go look at some condos or some townhomes because I'm single and I make an X amount of money, and he's doing the thing. What do you know? He also knows, because he's the business realtor, he knows a bunch of people that I work with. And this business that I worked at was a residential treatment center. Okay. So he has kind of an idea. Anyway, making a long story short, he takes me these different places. And what I start to realize is that I didn't really care so much about the structure of the house, but I cared about the feeling of the house.
Mm.
And maybe there's a lot of people that are like this.
Mhm.
I needed a lot of light to be coming in. And so it happens to be that the houses that have a lot of light were more recent houses. So they weren't old houses that I was looking at. They were like, and they were more like in these condos, and they were more in like these, which I didn't necessarily want to live in, just like houses that you just line up, and I was like, I don't want one of those.
Mm.
And they were mostly white based, right?
Mm.
But they felt so clean, and they felt so light was coming in. Anyway, I get in 2018 up in Saratoga Springs in the area of Legacy Farms, it's called. And I get in at like 278, which my story about my house is a miracle. It's appreciated
Yep.
so much money.
So
Like
much.
my condos, it was the best purchase I never knew that I was making
Yep.
in my life. But here's the story that I want to say. So I am hitting my 6th year in my townhome in August. It's a transient place because families come in, just starters,
Mhm.
and I love kids, and it has created such a for me such a love and flow of life there. The day that I went to sign for my house, there's like a this much paperwork, and I'm not even exaggerating. Like I'm signing. My realtor is standing up, next to me, and I look at him and I say, I'm not going to read any of this, but I'm going to sign this on your word.
Mm.
Is this, after knowing me and being with me for 8 weeks and looking at things, is this, in your opinion, in your experience, the right purchase for me? And without hesitancy, he said, yeah, and you can sign on my word. Now, the second part of that was I was crying during this, and there's been a couple of experiences where I've done this, where I've done the thing really important, and I'm really grieving. I'm grieving, and I'm grateful. They hand you, the key thing, and they take a picture. And the people that were in there, I remember the guy that I was signing, who was the broker. I don't even know what their name is, but the person I was signing the thing. And I remember him kind of looking at me and even saying, like, most people are happier than this. And he didn't get it. So we walk out, and my realtor asked me, he's like, I noticed that you were crying, and I'm just I'm curious. And I was able to tell him, like, I never wanted to buy a house alone. This is something that I wanted to do with a partner. And as much as I feel so proud of myself for making my goal, there's a lot of grief in this. And because he asked, he got the answer. The people that are standing next to me being like, why is she crying or whatever. And that experience for me, and maybe just because this is the business that you're in.
Yeah.
And to anybody who's listening, who's going to be in the business of helping people make the biggest decisions that you don't even know. I don't think he would have ever thought that me being single and buying a house had anything to do with anything. Just like you're buying a house. But because he listened, I was able to tell him it's much more than a house. And this moment has a bunch of grief in it, even though it has a bunch of gratitude. And so for what it's worth, I think coming back to what you said and kind of finishing on this, I think being in the business of people, even if you're selling homes and real estate, is what it's all about. I'm grateful that is your kind of foundation, and hopefully that story helps people to really understand in some ways. We just don't really know what people are going through and what they're doing. We don't know how much time or what's behind the scene that took them to buy this house. Some people have the money to lay it down, and some people have to live with their parents for 2 years to which was lovely, to save. He also was able to find me all kinds of things that I didn't end up using that down payment at all, because I was on special land and I was a new buyer, and I was able to put that money into my utilities. I mean, it was a really, really great experience for me. But if I were to boil it down, it was because he cared, not because he was selling me a house.
He asked the question.
Yeah.
Amen. I need to hear that. Thank you.
Adam, thank you.
Thank you.
I am excited to see you continue to grow and build the kingdom, and I'm continue to be friends, and I hope hear you sing. Again in the near
Feelings
future.
mutual. Feelings mutual.
Thanks.
Thank you.